but it causes repeated trauma to the brain. And over years and years of this happening, people can get what's called chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE syndrome. And it's almost like a disease, because with repeated trauma to the brain, and that can lead to memory problems, mood swings, even trouble with movements, and eventually people can develop dementia, like Alzheimer's disease. And Jake Paul got knocked out by Anthony Joshua this past Friday night. So I want to break this down from a medical perspective. I'm a neurosurgeon with over 25 years of experience. And so, what happens is when you get hit in the head with that kind of force, like in boxing, our brain actually moves inside our skull, and it can bump into the skull, which is a firm structure, and cause bruising of the brain.
In the morning, I can't sleep. My jaw's busted. They wired it up a couple hours ago, and it hurts every time I move my mouth. I lost tonight. I gave everything, and I still lost. Feels like I let everyone down. I'm not unbreakable.
Jake
Paul gets his jaw broken. Not only that, but he gets his lower jaw broken from the right and the left side, so both sides. And not only this, following that, he went through an emergency surgery procedure to get that sorted out, and titanium plates were inserted to help stabilize the case. This will take long to fully heal.
Here's the reality no one wants to face. Once you've been hit, like that truly hit the brain remembers, even when the ego refuses to. And the medical discussions about CTE and long-term damage aren't just noise. They're a warning sign, because repeated trauma accumulates. And Jake just added a heavy layer to that damaged one that time doesn't simply erase.
He was going like tie him down and catch him with a good shot and shit like that. So wait, do you think, curious, because it's a business aspect, but again, I'm still a nigga and I'm still a casual fan, I'm being real.
6 to 8 months. Maybe a full year. Plates, dental repairs, changes in weight, hesitation in reflexes. And that's only the physical checklist. Mentally, something changed the moment he admitted that heavyweight was a mistake. And that single sentence hit harder than any punch, because it sounded like doubt finding its voice.
Pushed down on the back of his neck, pushed down on the back of his head, got him to the ground. There was a few times where Jake looked like he was going for a takedown. Again, that was Jake trying to engage in the clinch, and AJ smartly moved back. In one instance, I think it was the 5th round, Jake engaged for a clinch, AJ moved back and started punching.
Anthony Joshua, showing respect, made it worse. Not better, because respect from the one delivering the damage confirms how real it was. And when AJ says that shot would have dropped real heavyweights, that isn't praise, its context. And that context is brutal, because it reveals just how thin the margin truly was the entire time.
Anthony Joshua sleeping Jake and breaking his jaw in 2 different places, along with breaking his teeth. Javante joined the fun with the rest of the boxing community by throwing a meme on Jake Paul. That was his reaction, as you guys see above.
And don't assume this ends with recovery updates and motivational posts. Because behind the scenes, promoters are recalculating. Opponents are circling, and commissions are paying close attention. And I'm hearing whispers, quiet ones, that not everyone involved even wants the rematch narrative to exist at all.
Jake Paul was knocked out in round 6 and suffered 2 fractures to his left jaw. Here's the moment that did it.
Chin served on a platter for that right hand right there. And look at Jake Paul's face.
There's no way I can share the actual injury here. It's a bit too gruesome, as the camera was put inside Jake's mouth and his teeth were actually not in a straight line. They were separated from the others as the jaw deviated. The question is though, what kind of recovery process Jake...
You're probably thinking this turns into a comeback arc, a revenge story, the whole Phoenix Rise. But ask yourself honestly, after seeing that before and after image burned into your mind, do you really believe the confidence will return the same way? Or will hesitation slip in right before the next exchange? Because that half second is where careers end.
On Jake's back, So all of those things kind of deteriorated or emptied Jake's gas tank a lot earlier than I think he expected it to. But overall, I thought he deployed his game plan well for the first 5 rounds and actually had some success. He even moved AJ back a few times, 1 by just jabbing in the air, and 2, when he caught him, he
Something else is about to surface. I can feel it. Too many reactions don't add up. Too many people are choosing their words carefully, and someone is clearly protecting something. Maybe a negotiation, maybe a condition, maybe a decision made weeks ago that explains why this unraveled so quickly. And when that comes out, this entire story will flip again.
Yeah, he just represents everything that's wrong with boxing, unprofessionalism, and he's getting what he's reaping what he sows. But I hate working with people like that. He stands everyone up, film crews, everything, doesn't do any promotion.
So yeah, this isn't over. Not by a long shot. Because Jake Paul didn't just lose a fight, he opened a debate the sport can't ignore. And as he recovers in private while others celebrate publicly, the clock keeps ticking toward the next revelation, the next leak, the next shock. And when it arrives, you'll wish you hadn't looked away for even a moment.
Jake Paul was knocked out in round 6 and suffered 2 fractures to his left jaw. Here's the moment that did it.
Chin served on a platter for that right hand right there. And look at Jake Paul's face.
There's no way I can share the actual injury here. It's a bit too gruesome as the camera was put inside Jake's mouth and his teeth were actually not in a straight line. They were separated from the others as the jaw deviated. The question is though, what kind of recovery process Jake would be.
He didn't just get knocked out, he got wiped out. Jaw broken. Future altered. And the most frightening part? This could be the moment Jake Paul's entire boxing identity quietly ended on a Friday night. So don't blink. Because I'm taking this back to the second before the disaster. When everyone still believed confidence could defy physics and power, and somehow survive what was coming, which it couldn't. Not even close. And yes, it feels unreal, but it's real.
AJ back. AJ came right back in and swung, but he did move him back.
When this fight was first announced, you said to several media members that initially you weren't down for this fight. You thought it was just a little bit too much too soon, to paraphrase. Did he do better? Did Jake do better than you thought? Result aside, obviously you wanted him to win. You thought, I think by the end, that he was going to win, but did he actually do better than you thought initially?
This wasn't just the end of a fight, was a revelation. Because when Jake hit the canvas and didn't get up, that wasn't fatigue or bad luck. That was the sport finally shouting the truth back at him. And here's what no one wants to say out loud yet, but will soon. Something went very wrong long before the final punch. Something structural, something hidden. And I promise you, someone in this story isn't being honest. And we're not there yet.
Respect to Jake Paul that we took a few rounds to get going because Jake was moving a lot and holding a lot, and it was difficult to nail him clean, I think. But eventually AJ took his time, cut him off and smashed him about. And listen, respect to Jake Paul, because that last shot, I know he broke his, shattered his jaw, but it would have knocked most heavyweights out. So I've got to give him credit.
I was going to say, in the end, are you pleased with that? Because obviously everyone was saying,
we'll argue that he at least won 3. No one expected him to last that long. Rolled his ankle, broke his jaw, still fucking fighting, man. That's toughness. Most people wouldn't have the balls ever to step in a boxing ring in their life. He stepped in a boxing ring with one of the baddest men on the planet. Who's 40 pounds heavier than him is 6 inches taller. That's insane. He's one of the most skilled fighters on the planet, my brother.
And when they're rugby tackling you, but he had to do what he had to do to survive. And he did that. So, it's very difficult to go in out the ring for 14 months and just be razor sharp with a guy running. And so, yeah, probably 2 or 3 rounds more than expected. But fair play to Jake Paul. It was a lot tougher than I thought, and he took a lot more shots than I thought he could.
What did AJ tell you inside the ring about the fight?
Wicked fight. Respect to Jake Paul for taking the fight. Took a heavy shot. But you know what a fantastic fight he put on. But big well done to AJ. We knew from day one AJ was going to do it. The better fighter was going to win.
Michael said that Jake Paul was running. Do you feel like he ran or do you like?
I mean, against someone like AJ, AJ's a big guy, strong guy, and he can hurt you. So yeah, 100%. Like he's gonna want to avoid his power, but you know what? He got caught in the corner and bang you out.
Or Jake would have moved around the ring at 100 miles an hour. There's two things I would have done: tried to shut Jake down at 100 miles an hour, or I would have gone on the back foot. So Jake decided to move around the ring, and I decided to put the pressure on. What I could have done better is a lot of things. 100%. In the fight game, you've seen the amazing fighters that.
We'll argue that he at least won 3. No one expected him to last that long. Rolled his ankle, broke his jaw, still fucking fighting, man. Like, that's toughness. You know, most people just wouldn't have the balls ever to step in a boxing ring in their life. He stepped in a boxing ring with one of the baddest men on the planet. Who's 40 pounds heavier than him is 6 inches taller. That's insane. He's one of the most skilled fighters on the planet, my brother.
Have graced us over the last 100 years, and the expectations that we put on ourselves are immense, but I tried my best. Jake done well while it lasted, but if you remember what I said in the interview with Cameron is, fighting's not just physical, it's psychological.
Now everyone's acting like it was closer than it actually was, hiding behind quotes about respect and moral victories. But respect doesn't fix a broken jaw, and it doesn't change the fact that Anthony Joshua handled him calmly and patiently, like a man solving a puzzle whose picture he'd already seen. And if you think other fighters weren't taking notes, you're kidding yourself.